Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, November 10th, 2022. A little late, about 3 p.m. I had a couple of technical difficulties. When we talk about the time sequence, the time frame of each of these bodies, and we've been talking about 70th year. Obviously, because of synthetics and other things, the body's able, they keep the body alive longer. And at one time, our bodies, existed or lived to be several hundred or thousands of years. So this is a mark point, and it shifts depending on the person. But the idea, the understanding is that whatever age you come to, if you lived everything rightly in the moment, never postponing for the future, never dreaming for the future, you lived in the moment totally, whatsoever it was. 9 months before your death, you will become aware. You have attained that much awareness. You can see now death is coming. Many saints have declared their deaths, but there hasn't been a single instance when the death was declared earlier than 9 months. Exactly 9 months before, a man of awareness, uncluttered with the past, because one who never thinks of the future will never think of the past. They are together. The past and the future are together, joined together. When you think of the future, it is nothing but the projection of the past. When you think of the past, it is nothing but trying to plan for the future. They are together. The present is out of them. A man who lives in this moment, now and here, is not cluttered with the past and not cluttered with the future. He remains unburdened. He has no burden to carry. He moves without weight. Gravitation doesn't affect him. In fact, he doesn't walk, he flies. He has wings. Before he dies, exactly 9 months before, he will become aware that death is coming, and he will enjoy, and he will celebrate, and he will tell people, my ship is coming, and I am only on this bank a little while more. Soon I will be going to my home. This life has been beautiful, a strange experience. I loved, learned, lived much. I am enriched. I had come here with nothing, and I am going with much experience and much maturity. He will be thankful to all that has happened, both good and bad, both right and wrong. Both because he learned from everything, not only from right, from wrong, also. Sages that he came across, he learned from them, and sinners, yes, from them also. They all helped. People who robbed him helped. People who helped him helped. People who were friends helped. People who were enemies helped. Everything helped. Summer and winter, satiety and hunger, everything helped. One can be thankful to all. When one is thankful to all and ready to die, celebrating for this opportunity that was there, death becomes beautiful. Then death is not the enemy. It is the greatest friend, because it is the crescendo of life. It is the highest peak that life achieves. It is not the end of life. It is the climax. It looks like the end because you have never known life. To one who has known life, it appears as the very crescendo, the very peak, the highest peak. Death is the culmination, the fulfillment. Life does not end in it. In fact, life flowers in it. It is the flower. But to know the beauty of death, one has to be ready for it. One has to learn the art. That's why some are here to teach you how to die. A master is a death. He allows you to die in him. He helps you to die every moment to the past, and he helps you to live an uncluttered moment. And this moment, so the perspective is the understanding, whether you're 80, 90, 100, 150, 120, whatever. It's knowing and being aware. It's living in the now, not yesterday or tomorrow. It's always living moment to moment. And all the suffering is not there. The ego mind is not there. But living in the now, moment to moment. Man is a rainbow. All the 7 colors together. That is his beauty. That is his problem, too. Man is multifaceted, multidimensional. His being is not simple. It is a great complexity. And out of that complexity is born the harmony we call God, the divine melody. So the first thing to be understood about man is that man is not yet. The first thing to be understood about man is that man is not yet. Man is only a possibility, a potentiality. Man can be. Man is a promise. The dog is. The rock is. The sun is. Man can be. Hence the anxiety and anguish. One can miss, too. There is no certainty. You may flower. You may not flower. Hence the shivering, the shaking, the trembling inside. Who knows whether I will be able to do it or not? Man is a bridge between the animal and the divine. Animals are tremendously happy. Of course, not aware, not consciously happy, but tremendously happy, unworried, non-neurotic. God is tremendously happy and conscious. Man is just in between the two, in limbo, always wavering, to be or not to be. Man is a rainbow, because a rainbow will give you the total perspective in which man can be understood. From the lowest to the highest, the rainbow has 7 colors. Man has 7 centers of his being. The allegory of the 7 is very ancient. In India, the allegory has taken the form of 7 chakras. The lowest is the Muladhara, and the highest is the Sahasrara. And between these two are 5 steps, 5 more chakras. And man has to pass through all 7 chakras, 7 steps toward the divine. Ordinarily, we are stuck at the lowest. The first 3, the Muladhara, the Vadhisthana, and the Manipura, are animal chakras. If you live in the first 3, you are no different to the animals, and then you are committing a crime. Not that you are actually committing a crime. You are committing a crime because you will not be able to be what you were meant to be. You will miss the possibility. If a seed does not grow to be a flower, it has committed a crime against nobody, against himself. And the son that one commits against oneself is the greatest. The missing the target, as we know, sin. And the sin that one commits against oneself is the greatest. In fact, we commit sins towards others only when we have committed the first fundamental sin against ourselves, which means missing the target. Understand that. The first three chakras are concerned with food, money, power, domination, sex. Food is the lowest. Sex is the highest. In the lowest three chakras, this has to be understood. Food is the lowest. A food-obsessed person is in the lowest category of animals. He simply wants to survive. He has no purpose. He just wants to survive for survival's sake. If you ask him for what, he has no answer to give you. One day, Mullah Nasruddin said, I wish I had more land. I asked him, but why? As it is, you have enough. He said, I could raise a lot more cows. So I asked him, and what would you do with them? And he said, sell them and make money. And then what you are going to do with the money. Buy more land. I asked him for what? To raise a lot more cows. This way it goes. Just a vicious circle in which you never come out. You eat, you live. You eat to live. You live to eat. This is the lowest possibility. The lowest form of life is the amoeba. The amoeba simply eats, that's all. An amoeba has no sex life. An amoeba goes on eating whatsoever is available. The amoeba is exactly the symbol of the lowest man. The amoeba has no other organs, only the mouth. His whole body functions as a mouth. He goes on digesting whatsoever comes close by. Whatsoever comes close, he simply digests it. He absorbs it with his whole body. His whole body is a mouth. He becomes more and more, bigger and bigger. Then comes a point where he is too big and he cannot manage. And he splits in two. And there are two amoebas instead of one. Then they start doing the same thing. The amoeba simply eats and lives to eat more. A few people live in this lowest level. Beware of it. Life has something more to give you. It is not just survival. It is survival for something significant. Survival is necessary, but is not the end unto itself. It is just a means. The second type, a little higher than the food obsessed, is the power maniac, the politician. He wants to dominate people. For what? He feels very, very, very inferior deep inside. He wants to show to the world, I am somebody. I can dominate. I can put you in your right place. He has not put himself in his right place. He tries to put the whole world in its place. He is the ego-obsessed person. He can move in any direction. If he moves into money, he will go on hoarding money. Money becomes the power symbol. If he moves into politics, he cannot contain himself until he has reached the very end, and there is nothing. Real man tries to conquer himself, not others. He wants to know himself. He does not care to fulfill some inner gap by dominating someone else. The real man loves freedom for himself and for others as well. Now, the third is sex. And I say it is better than food, than politics, because it has a little higher quality. It shares. It has something higher. In food, you simply absorb, you don't share. In domination, you destroy, you don't create. Sex is the highest possibility on the lower plane. You share your energy, and you become creative. As far as an animal existence is concerned, sex is the highest value, and people are stuck somewhere with these three. The fourth is the Anahata chakra. The first three are animal. The last three are divine. And in between these two is the fourth, Anahata, the heart chakra, the lotus of the heart, the chakra of love. And that is the bridge. Love is the bridge between the animal and the divine. Try to understand it as deeply as possible. Below the heart, a man is an animal. Above the heart, he becomes divine. Only in the heart is a man human. That's why a man who can feel, who can love, who can pray, who can cry, who can laugh, who can share, who can have compassion, is the real human being. Humanity has dawned in him. The first rays of the sun have entered in him. And the fifth is the Vishuddha. Sixth is the Agya. And seventh is the Sahasrara. With the fifth, love becomes more and more meditative, more and more prayerful. With the sixth, love is no longer a relationship. It is not even a prayer. It has become a state of being. It is not that you love somebody. No. Now it is something like you are love. It is not a question of loving. Your very energy is love. You cannot do otherwise. Now love is the natural flow. Just as you breathe, so you love. It is a deeply eternal state. And with the seventh, the Samadhi, the Sahasrara, you have arrived home. In Christian theology, you can find the same allegory in the story that God created the world in 6 days, and on the seventh day he rested. Those 6 days are the 6 chakras, the 6 centers of being. The seventh is rest. One has arrived home. One rests. That allegory has not been understood well. Christians, and particularly Christian theologians, never go very deep. Their understanding remains superficial at the most, logical, theoretical, but it never touches the real point. God created the world first. He created matter. Last, he created man. For 5 days, he was creating everything else in the world, matter, animals, birds. Then on the 6th day, he created man. And in the last moment of the 6th day, he created woman. Now, this is a very symbolic woman. Woman is the last creation. Even man is not the last. And the allegory is still more beautiful because it says he created woman out of man. That means woman is a refinement of man, a more purified form. Understand, this is not literal. It's figurative. This is all an analogy. First, a woman means intuition, poetry, imagination. Man means will, prose, logic, reason. These are symbol. Man means an aggressive quality. Woman means receptivity. Receptivity is the highest. Man means logic, reasoning, analysis, philosophy. Woman means religion, poetry, imagination, more fluid, more flexible. Man is fighting with God. Science is purely a male byproduct. Man fighting, struggling, trying to conquer. Woman never fights. She simply welcomes. She waits. She surrenders. And the Christian allegory says God created man first. Man is the highest in the animal kingdom. But as far as humanity is concerned, woman is higher. Christian theologians have interpreted it in an absolutely wrong way. They have interpreted it in a male chauvinist way. They think man is more important, so God created man first. Then animals must be even more important. The logic is false. They think man is the real thing. Woman is just an appendix. At the last moment, God felt that something was missing, so he took one bone out of man and created the woman. Woman is not to be thought very significant, just a helpmate, just so that man feels good. Otherwise, he will be alone. The story is analyzed in such a way that it seems that woman is less important than man, just a toy for man to play with. Otherwise, he will be alone. God loved man so much that he thought he would be sad and lonely. Actually, this is not true. Imagination comes only when the will is surrendered. The same energy that is will becomes imagination. And the same energy that becomes aggression becomes reception. And the same energy that fights becomes cooperation. The same energy that is anger becomes compassion. Compassion comes out of anger. It is a refinement of anger. It is a higher symphony out of anger. Love arises out of sex. It is a higher reach, more purified. God created woman after he created man because woman can be created only afterward. First, you have to create the crude energy. Cannot come first. And in this allegory, there is a message that every man has to become feminine before he reaches the seventh. This is at the sixth center. In yoga, the sixth center is called Agya Chakra. It means the center of will. Agya means order, commandment. It is the most powerful center. The sixth, and many become stuck there. Then they go on playing with spiritual energies and go on doing foolish things. At the sixth center, man has to turn into a woman, and his whole will has to be used for only one thing. That is, he has to will surrender. To will surrender is the greatest thing in the world. And this can be done only if you have willpower, not ordinary, but extraordinary willpower. Ordinarily, you think people who surrender are weaklings. You are wrong. Only very strong people can surrender. Surrender needs strength, great strength. You surrender out of wellness, weakness. Your surrender is meaningless, impotent. If you surrender out of strength, then your surrender has meaning, significance. At the sixth center, when will comes to its ultimate focusing, surrender is possible. Out of will is created surrender. Out of man, God created woman. At the sixth center, Now, if you ask the brain surgeons, they will also agree. They say the brain is divided into two hemispheres, man and woman, the left and the right. The left brain is male, the right brain is female. The right brain connected with the left hand. That's why the left hand is not appreciated, even condemned. The right hand is associated with the left brain. Hence, right seems to be right and left seems to be wrong. It is a man-oriented world, male-dominated world. The right hand is the symbol of the male. The left hand is the symbol of the female. And your head is divided into two hemispheres. A poet functions from a different part of his head than a logician. A poet is more feminine. It is not just a coincidence, because those don't exist, that if you look at great poets, you will find great femininity, grace, beauty, and charm, a tremendous attraction, a charisma, feminine charisma. If you look at painters, you will find them a little effeminate. Their dress, their long hair, their way of walking is more feminine. In India, there was a very compassionate Bodhisattva. But when Buddhism reached China, they could not believe that he could be a man. How is such compassion possible in a man? So they made statues of him as a woman. The statues are called Kuan Yin. Many have heard of Kuan Yin. So they did not believe Kuan Yin was a man, so they made statues of him as a woman. And they are still worshipped. The story is beautiful. The Buddhist monks who carried Buddha's message to China tried to explain. You are foolish. This is not a woman, but a man. But the sculptors said, we cannot do it. Our understanding is that such compassion is possible only in a woman, not a man. So they depicted a woman. The story is of tremendous import. Buddha looks more like a woman than like a man. His face, his grace. The sixth center has been surrendered. Logic has been surrendered to love. Argument has been surrendered to feeling. Aggression has become reception. Conflict is turned into cooperation. Now there is no struggle between the part and the whole. The part is flowing with the whole. The part is in a let go. The whole has possessed it. That is the meaning of the Christian allegory, that God created man first, and then woman out of man. This is to pay tremendous respect to feminine qualities. They are higher than man. They come out of man. They flower out of man. And then on the seventh day, God rested. What else can you do when you have come home? Sahasrar is the center of rest. Absolute rest. You have arrived. Now there is nowhere to go. The lowest, the Muladhara, is the center of unrest. The highest is the center of rest. And between these two, there are 7 divisions. You can call them 7 colors. And yes, man is a rainbow. Or you can call them 7 notes of music. Eastern music divides sound into 7 notes. Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa, Da, Ni. These are the 7 basic notes. And out of these 7 basic notes, all music is created. All symphony, all melody, all song, all dance. Remember, 7 is a very significant number. And one more thing to be more modern and contemporary. You divide these 7 centers in this way. The first you could call no mind. No mind means the mind is fast asleep. Mullet har. It is there, but so fast asleep you cannot even detect it. A rock, God is fast asleep. In man, he has become a little alert, just a little alert, not very much. In a rock, he is fast asleep, snoring. If you listen closely, you will hear the snoring, God's snoring. That's why rocks are so beautiful, so deeply silent, so turmoil. No anxiety, nowhere to go. This is no mind. I don't mean by no mind that they have no mind. I simply mean that the mind has not manifested yet. The mind is waiting in seed. The mind is getting ready to awake. The mind is preparing. The mind is resting. Sooner or later, there will be morning, and the rock will become a bird and will start flying, or will become a tree and will start blossoming. The second state, unconscious mind. In the trees, the mind is there, not like the rock. God has become a little different from the rock. Not conscious, unconscious. Trees feel. They cannot feel that they feel, but they feel. Listen to the difference. If you hit a tree, she feels it, but she cannot feel that she feels it. That much awareness does not happen. Feeling has come in. The tree is sensitive. And now there are modern experiments proving it, that trees are tremendously sensitive. This is called the unconscious mind. Mind is there, almost like when one is asleep. In the morning, one remembers that it was a beautiful night. I slept deeply. The sleep was very profound. But you remember in the morning, not when the actual sleep is happening. You remember later on, retrospectively. Mind was there in sleep, but was not functioning at the moment. It only functions retrospectively, later on. In the morning, you remember a beautiful night, such a soothing and satiny night, such deep silence and such happiness. But you recognize it in the morning. The third state is subconscious mind. Subconscious mind is in the birds, animals. It is like dreaming. In a dream, you become little more conscious than you are in your sleep. Let's say that the rocks are in a coma. In the morning, they will not even be able to remember how profound the sleep was. It is a coma. The trees are asleep. When they awake, they will remember. The birds and the animals are dreaming. They are very close to humanity. This is called the subconscious mind. The fourth, I call conscious mind. That's where man is. Not very conscious, just a flicker, just a small wave of consciousness. And that too happens only when you are in tremendous danger. Otherwise not. If somebody suddenly comes and is ready to kill you with a dagger, or whatever weapon, you will become conscious. In that moment, there will be tremendous awareness, intelligence, radiance. Thinking will stop. You will become a flame. Only in rare moments do you really become conscious. Otherwise, you move almost like a somnambulist. In 1959, two drunkards in the French town of Vienne opened what they thought was a door to the street. Actually, it was the window of a room 4 stories up. With a gay song on their lips, they marched out, arm in arm, over the sill to the street below. A beat policeman, hearing the thuds and rushing to help, was dumbfounded to watch them careering away, still singing, and obviously in tip-top condition. We missed our step, they explained. They were not aware at all. Had they been aware, they might have died. They were not aware. They simply thought they had missed a step 4 stories. And this is your situation as well. Your whole life is almost that of a drunkard. You go on stumbling here and there, missing one step here, another step there. Your whole life is nothing but misery upon misery, stumbling, bumping into each other. You may call it love, but what it comes to is just bumping into each other. It creates misery. Only consciousness can give ecstasy. Ecstasy is the shadow of consciousness. This is the 4th stage, in which ordinarily human beings live and die. This is a sheer wastage. Rocks can be forgiven. Trees can be forgiven. Birds can be forgiven, but not man, because you have the first glimpse. Now it is your responsibility to grow it, to make it more solid, to make it stronger. You cannot say to a rock, you miss. But you can say to a man, you miss. Man is the only responsible animal. He can be asked, he will have to answer. That is the meaning of responsibility. One day or other, he will have to answer to God or to the center of this existence or to existence itself. How did you miss? You were given the rudimentary beginning. You could have grown it. You were given the seed. You could have blossomed. Why did you miss? That's the anxiety of man, the agony, trembling, the anguish. Because man is the only animal in this world who can become ecstatic, who can achieve through conscious blissfulness, who can become Sat Chit Anand, who can become truth, consciousness, being, who can become bliss, who can come to the ultimate. The 5th, the subconsciousness mind. Subconscious mind. At the 4th stage, the conscious mind. Your consciousness is just a very flickering thing, very momentary. It has no stability, comes and goes. It's beyond your power. You cannot recall it when it is needed. All religions exist between the conscious and the superconscious mind. All techniques of yoga, all techniques as such, are nothing but to transform your consciousness into the superconsciousness. Self-remembering. Kabir calls it Sarada Yoga. Sarada also means remembering. Jesus says again and again and again, be aware, be awake, watch. Buddha says, be alert. Krishnamurti goes on talking about awareness. For 40 years, he has been talking about only one thing, and that is awareness. One word is the whole message. That word is the bridge between conscious mind and superconscious mind. When your consciousness has become a stable factor in you, an integrated factor in you, a crystallized factor in you, you can depend on it. Right now, you cannot depend on it. You are going along, very conscious, and somebody hits you. Immediately, the consciousness is gone. It is not dependable. Somebody says a simple word. Somebody says to you, are you an idiot? And consciousness is gone. Just the word, idiot, and your eyes are bloodshot, and you are ready to be killed or to kill. Even people who seem to be very, very, very alert and aware may be just alert and aware because they have escaped the situations. Their alertness is not real. You can go to Himalayas. You can sit in a cave. Nobody will come to call you an idiot. Who will bother to come to a Himalayan cave to call you an idiot? Of course, you will not get angry. Your state of awareness in a Himalayan cave is not worth much because there is no test point, no possibility to destroy it. Hence, Kabir says, be in the world. Don't be of the world. Be in the world. Don't be of the world. But be in the world. Live in the world. Live in the ordinary situations where everything provokes you to be unconscious and everybody helps you to be conscious. If you understand it, this world is a great device of God to make you more conscious. Your enemy is your friend. And the curses are blessings. And the misfortunes can be turned into fortunes. It depends only on one thing. If you know the key of awareness, then you can turn everything into gold. When somebody insults you, that is the moment to keep alert. When your wife looks at somebody else and you feel hurt, that is the moment to keep alert. When you are feeling sad, gloomy, depressed, when you feel the whole world is against you, that is the moment to be alert. When you are surrounded by a dark night, that is the moment to keep your light burning. And all those situations will prove helpful. They are meant for it. From the conscious mind to the superconscious mind, it is all yoga, meditation, prayer, awareness. Sub-superconscious mind is an integrated phenomenon. But you will still lose it sometime. Not ordinarily when you are wakeful, but you may lose it when you go to sleep. Sub-superconscious mind will help you while you are awake. Sometimes even in dreams, you may remember, but not in deep sleep. And when Krishna says in the Gita, the yogi is awake even when the whole world sleeps. He is indicating toward a higher state, which is the sixth, the superconscious mind. Then one remains alert, even while asleep, deep asleep, but awareness remains there. This is the sixth. And out of this sixth, the seventh grows spontaneously. You have not to do anything for it. Then seventh, which is no mind. To make the circle complete, the first is the no mind of a rock, and the last is the no mind of a God. To show this unity, we have sculptured gods in stone. To show this unity, this circle complete, we have made stone statues of God. To show that stone is the first and God is the last. And both meet somewhere. Again, no mind. Call it soul, God, enlightenment, nirvana, salvation, or whatever you choose to call it. These are the seven stages, and this is the rainbow a man in. One thing more, that is, not a single color has to be denied. All the colors to be absorbed, they must be absorbed in the rainbow. And all the notes of music, and all the seven notes of music have to become part of the melody. And all these seven chakras, from Muladhara to Sahasrara, have to become a unity. It is not that you have to deny some chakras, because that denied chakra will never allow you to become a whole. And one who is not whole can never be holy. They all have to form a hierarchy, a unity. They all have to belong for 1 second. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out.
Take an easy breath in through and slow in through the nose. And take an easy and slow breath out of the mouth. Remain still. Our real power in this life doesn't come from money, prestige, material luxuries, or physical strength. These things can all be taken away from us. True power comes from that which is permanent. It is found by discovering that one thing that cannot change or be destroyed. So for today, focus on that one thing which does not change or die in this life. It is not far away. In fact, it is closer to you than your next thought. By accessing your real power, you are no longer a victim to issues from your past or trying to manage who you will become in the future. To find your real source of power, look inward to where the source of your consciousness is coming from. The subtle energetic fountain of bliss is who you are. Take this precious day today and explore who and what you truly are. Pay close attention to this infinite stream of consciousness. Surrender to the flow of its permanent and unchanging awareness all day long. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night the following morning. We will return here Friday, November 11th, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call, 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our reverse aging